It's another week, another game night. The Bears are back and they're out of sight. Bad calls, bad luck, it's a weekly sight. Tune in to another bad call, let's make it right. Yo, it's another bad call, it shows the name. Breaking down the plays, the blame and the shame. From Soldier Field to the NFL's domain. We're here to talk it out again and again. Another bad call, it shows the name. Breaking down the plays, the blame and the shame. From Soldier Field to the NFL's domain. We're here to talk it out again and again. Again and again. Again and again. Yo.
Hey everybody, welcome to another bad call. The podcast that proves the refs aren't the only ones who get it wrong. I'm JD, and with me as always is Big Brother Justin. What's going on, buddy?
Well, it's basketball season now, right?
I mean, I guess for some, for a handful of NFL teams, I'm sure it is. It is, what do we got? This is Monday, December 9th. We're got a game going on between the Bengals and Cowboys. Tie game 2020 right now in the fourth quarter. And for those of you that are interested, if you switch over to ESPN Plus or you can go find it on Disney Plus, they are doing the Simpsons telecast, which is it's pretty entertaining. They tried it with Toy Story last year. This is better done than that one. It's been great. My kids enjoyed it. They really enjoyed watching the first quarter. And actually got them asking questions about it. So kudos to the NFL for doing that. It's kind of weird though.
I hope they have it available for playback because I haven't had a chance to turn that on basketball practice and whatnot tonight. So
if not, I'm sure you can find it on YouTube or something tomorrow. But
yeah,
it's pretty entertaining. I'd love to see it done maybe with some other franchises. We got to watch a touchdown early on. Who was it? Bart threw a touchdown to Ralph, which was kind of entertaining. And what's
Ralph?
even better,
Who?
Is it? He's the little kid that goes, "I'm Ralph."
No. I mean, like, are there specific
No, they've put him in as.
Oh, okay.
No. So
Ralph
Bart came in
like
as
CeeDee Lamb or.
Bart came in as Chase Brown early in the game, and then later on for that, he came in as Joe Burrow.
Okay.
So they've been moving him around a little bit. Homer was he came in for Cooper Rush at one point in time. It's been really entertaining. My favorite part about it though is they have like the NFL live crew or some of the Monday Night Football crew, I guess I'd say. You got Mina Kimes, Dan Orlovsky, and whatnot. They're calling that game. And they'll, instead of saying the player's name, they're like, all right, Bart comes in and he throws the touchdown. Oh, Ralph's got it. You so they're actually calling it for the characters. It's really cool.
I did see a clip earlier on X where Mina Kimes got Dan Orlovsky with the, hey, how do you say this name? Huge ass,
Yep.
And Orlovsky's like, oh, man, you got me.
Yeah, they actually bring that up in the broadcast tonight, so
yeah, that
was pretty funny. Before we move on, though, if you're here, we truly appreciate you. Please make sure you hit that like, subscribe, share, comment, whatever it is. It's all free actions that really help us out as we just do this for fun, but we'd love to grow it and get a community going on. Just make these a little bit more interactive and fun as we're going. We're going to go to the opposite of fun and talk about that Bears game yesterday. Bears go digging for gold in San Francisco and come up empty. They lose 38-13. And again, a tale of two halves, almost. They again look like two completely different teams in each half. But this time they were just too far behind the 8 ball to do anything in the second half and couldn't get it done.
Yeah, this game was brutal. You think they're going to have a bounce after the Eberflus firing and we get Thomas Brown? Instead, we get more of the same. Another super slow start and the defense looking actually even more like trash. The Bears were outgained 317-4 total yardage in the first half and outscored 24-0. And it just looks like a team that wasn't interested and a team that was not prepared to take the football field.
Yeah, it's just not good. The end of the game stats show it was kind of balanced from a play calling standpoint, but watching the game um, was that not the case. They just really couldn't get anything going, especially on the ground. Big difference in yards per pass too. Bears had 3.9 yards per pass attempt. Uh, Niners had 11.2. I mean, you're getting outgained almost 8 yards per pass. So even if you throw the same amount of passes, you're obviously going to get just blown out of the water on that front. So
Yeah.
definitely something they need to work on.
Yeah. Caleb sacked 7 more times. He's by far the most sacked quarterback in the NFL. He has been sacked 15 more times than anybody else. That offensive line, just outside of Darnell Wright, who I did watch, have some time to watch a few clips of his performance. He actually held up pretty well yesterday. Everybody else just looked like a big wall of wet paper. So it's pretty disappointing that these guys couldn't get up uh, for this game. Showed a little pride.
Yeah, this one was rough to watch. You mentioned the sacks. I mean, part of that just they're so far behind down in distance because they can't get anything going early. That they have to find more success on early downs. I did some quick looking. Their average yards to first down. So, obviously when you're first down, it's first and 10 most of the time, right? So uh, on second down, they're 18th, so they're a little bit better than average. But then when you get to third down, they're 26th in the league. And then when you get to fourth down, they're 29th in the league, which tells you they're they're basically moving backwards. I mean, it's not exact numbers, obviously. Let me pull up
Or
where.
they're just not even advancing. I mean,
Well, here
they're
this it's legit backwards. So on second down, they average 7.8, 7.9 yards to go to get a first down. On third down, it's 7.5, and then on fourth down, it's 8.6 yards, right? But it's not surprising that happens with all those sacks. So they're going backwards on third down. You're not moving far enough forward on first and second down, and then you go backwards on third down because the team knows you got to pass, right? You kind of just put yourselves in these positions where it's not going to work out. Uh, it's not ideal, not ideal
right,
situation.
right. So a bit of what I was concerned about, I think we probably talked about it a little bit, was now you've got Thomas Brown out of the press box and he's calling plays on the sideline. So you've changed up the operation a little bit from what you've been doing the past few weeks. Um, it just did not, nothing worked. Nothing in this game really worked. If you look at the stats, at the end of the day, Caleb's stats, uh, QB, his rating, the QB rating was 116.9. Um, he was 17 of 23 for 134 yards and 2 touchdowns. Again, he no interceptions. He set a rookie record for most consecutive games without interceptions. He did have one turnover. It was his first turnover in 7 games. It was a fumble on
Yeah,
that.
questionable, right?
It was
Questionable. Yeah.
Well, I mean, it was a fumble because it came backwards, right? Regardless
Yep.
if it's a backwards pass, the ball came backwards. Even if it's the tuck rule, the ball came out moving backwards. It's a fumble, but I'm not like he's valuing the ball, right?
Yeah.
He's doing a good job of protecting the ball. We saw a few nice connections between Caleb and Roma Dunze.
Yep.
There were a few bright spots, but the downsides far outweighed it. I'd like you to give me a little bit of opinion on what we're seeing from Cole Kmet.
or not seeing from Cole Kmet. Again, like I don't know if it's um I don't know if it's the offense, the scheme, or what's going on there. Um he's just not living up to the hype of what he should have been this season. But again, I don't know how much of that is scheme related, honestly, because Shane Waldron didn't know how to use his tight ends, and we can't expect Thomas Brown to come in and just completely change the scheme in the middle of the year, right? So,
Oh,
um,
I'm fully aware of that. My things that I'm saying is Komet can't hold a block, and so he doesn't do much for you in a run blocking, run pass or pass blocking scheme if he's part of it, and then he drops passes that are right in his chest. The 2-point conversion that was like inexcusable to me.
yeah, I honestly missed the 2-point conversion. I haven't had a chance to go back and watch the game. I was solo parenting this weekend again, so I missed that particular play, so I'd have to go back and see what it is. Yeah, I don't know, man. I wish I had answers, right? I wish they had answers. The whole
It's
team's
just
not good
kind of
enough. But
right.
again, I also listen, these guys you're paid to do a job. You have to go out and execute. That's how it is. Devil's advocate here, when you're not used for 80% of the season and all of a sudden you're like, okay, now you got to be used all the time. But
I don't know. You got to be
that's his
ready.
job. He
You
should be out there doing it.
always got to be ready, right? That's what
Yeah.
I tell my kids that come off the bench in a basketball game. You get in the game, you better be ready, and you better have your hands ready to catch the ball if it's coming your way. You can't just get out there. There's a reason why you're coming off the bench, right? You have
Right.
work to do. You have work to do. So don't come in the game and be half asleep, right? You got to be
Yep.
ready.
No, totally agree. Um, like I said, I don't know what's going on in preparation as far as he goes, but it's clearly not enough, and that's something that needs to be working on.
Yeah.
Like you mentioned, there's not a lot of positive, but I do want to focus on one of the things here. Uh, Isaac Rindo caught a catch that was challengeable, maybe if you were Eberflus. And I think as Bears fans, the natural reaction was like, all right, there's a challenge coming. But with Thomas Brown on the sideline instead of Flus, it didn't get challenged, which was the right call to not challenge it. And then he also pulled Caleb Williams in the last few minutes of the game when the game was out of hand. And I was like, you know what? That is nice to see.
That was the
That
one
is a
thing
big
at the
step.
end of the. Yeah, I did. I did notice that. It actually, I got a smirk off of that when I saw that happen because I'm like, oh, we're at least not being completely stupid about things. Um,
Yep.
it's
So
just
progress. Like at this point, like where can we find the little tiny silver linings, the little tiny wins? I've got a
yeah,
point. I don't know if you watched any of the press conferences or anything like that. Uh, Thomas Brown just basically come in and goes, "Yeah, we got our butt kicked afterwards." And then they asked Caleb Williams about it. He's like, "I don't know what TV said. We got our ass kicked."
yeah.
Like, I mean, and really, that's what I mean. Listen, I don't care who is coaching the team. Honestly, at this point in time, the 49ers just came in and wanted it more. Right?
It,
They're still trying to play for something, and they just flat out wanted it more and showed it on the field.
I
Um,
get it. And that's unfortunate. The things that Thomas Brown is preaching and saying in meetings and everything, you would hope that would resonate with some players, and then we would get a little bit more. But there's guys at this point that are starting to make business decisions, which and but you know what? When you do that, when you make those, that looks bad on you. Put that crap on tape. It's not going to help you out in your next contract, right? Um, and from a defensive standpoint, this team is regressing week after week after week. And not only is it apparent that we need probably 3 guys on the defensive line, our linebacking core is not very good. Tremaine Edmonds is not good.
Listen, I'm gonna disagree with you here for a second. Just listen, you like you want a little bit of that. Let's for a second not make the statements over one game, and y'all get into this a little bit more later.
It's not based on one game.
They just held Detroit, right, who has been mowing over everybody, down. They held the Vikings down. They held Green Bay down.
Oh, Detroit ran for 200 yards in the first half against the Bears. They're in the second half, for whatever reason, they went against their game plan and stopped running. So, yeah, I don't know.
But you're talking about three of the best teams in football that they just played really tough. Just sucks that they just happen to be in the division, right? And this one stings because we were talking about this one last week of this is now a winnable game because we're going up against the injury-ridden, depleted Niners team.
Yep, a depleted team that's on their fourth string running back. They've got
third.
They've got one.
Okay.
Well, I mean,
you're not going to count Elijah Mitchell, are you? Because he hadn't played hardly at all this year.
He was part of that running. He was part of the running back group coming into the season. So yes, they're on their fourth string running back.
Which doesn't matter in a Shanahan offense, and you know it. But continue.
Brandon Ayuk out for the season. You know, What amazes me is that George Kittle didn't find the end zone 18 times yesterday because he always looked like he was on a different field from anybody else. There was nobody in coverage. It was amazing, and baffling. And the thing that pissed me off the most about this game is it kept me from watching that Rams-Bills game.
Don't you have Sunday ticket?
I do, but for these purposes and for once I had the chance to actually sit down when the Bears were on and watch the game. I don't have that opportunity very often. And and then we got the game of the year going on the other channel.
Yeah. Well, it didn't turn the game of the year until
I was flipping back and forth, but
you need to do what I do. I had the Bears game on the TV, and then on my tablet next to me, I had pulled up that game and Arizona, Seattle on the other. I had them both going. Real quick before we move on past this, Brown's press conference today, right? His media availability. He got asked about the first touchdown. What happened on the very first touchdown? And he said, it was a miscommunication on the back end. We've got to clean that up. And he kept saying it like it's coaches, it's players, it's execution. He's like, we had a great week, we prepared. He goes, we just have to do a better job executing. But he goes, that starts with us coaches. We have to put them in a better spot and call a better game. And the follow-up question was, who's that on? Who is the miscommunication on? And dude just deadpan blank stare real quick, just went, the whole defense. Moving on. And I was like, yes, good job. That's how you should have handled that question. I'm loving how he's handled himself in the press conferences. I hope it starts showing up on the field for the rest of the season because we want to see some growth. Speaking of the rest of the season, we get a rematch with the Vikings next week. We've already talked about, early down. So I'm going to go ahead and say, obviously, we want to see more success on early downs. It's been talked about when you get to this point in the season, do we start looking at draft position more than anything else? So I'm going to ask you this. Would you rather see the Bears figure it out and win their last 3 division games, or have them lose those division games for a better draft position?
I'd rather they win, to be honest, but I have zero faith in it happening. I was wrong about coming into the season about a couple of things. I wasn't wrong about Detroit. They're about where I thought they were, but I was dead wrong about the Vikings. they're very
Everybody was.
they're a very good team. They're very well coached. They have some just weapons across the board, right? And their defense is pretty good.
Yep.
Um, the Packers are they they're a good team. I don't, but I'm telling you what, they're still one of the luckiest. You know, they're like it's Kansas City Chiefs 1, big gap. Green Bay Packers 2, as far as luckiest teams in the NFL. Jordan Love has a lot of Brett Favre in him, and
Yeah.
they're pretty maddening. But I'll tell you what, Josh Jacobs is a beast.
He went from I mean, one of the most inefficient running backs over the last 2 years to just he's balling. But it's amazing what a pass game will do for you.
I think I saw that those three teams are outside division 28-3 on the year.
Yeah.
So it's by far the best division in the NFL.
Yep.
And just too far for the Bears to
they weren't
to
ready.
make up. So I don't think it's going to happen. I think we're going to get a top 10 pick. Because Seattle's still playing for something too, so it's hard to see another win on this. And so what's that? That is going to put you 11 losses in a row, coming down the stretch. Maybe Green Bay has things locked up and they lay down on the last game of the season. I don't see.
I don't see that happening. I don't see that happening. I see the Bears stealing one of these divisional games. I really do. But part of that's, high hopes. You know me, I'm not the most optimistic of people, but I do feel like they're going to steal one.
I mean, we have road against on Monday night at Minnesota. We finished the game in Lambeau. The only home game is against the Vikings. Maybe you get some stupid weather game against the Lions. Maybe you get some kind of stupid weather game like you got 2 years ago, the first game of the year when it was
Niners.
the Niners game when it was the biggest downpour and nobody could do it. Maybe you get like
the coolest team celebration in history. Yes.
Maybe we get like one of those Buffalo type snow games or something that really messes. Although I don't see how we stop the run in that case.
Right. Right.
So, I don't know. It's sad that we're feeling this way. We had so much hope coming into the season, at least more that we would be more competitive. Anyway, we've just gotten our wheels cooked on us in the first half of almost every game that we've played since the bye.
And it's so rough because we were starting to get momentum going into the bye, right? It was picking our hopes up. And we talked about it at length that we had 3 winnable games, and that failberry or whatever we're going to call it as it goes down in the history books really just took the wind out of everything, and it just was mistake after mistake after mistake. But all right, I don't want to spend any more time on it because I don't want to be depressed and
yeah.
All right, you got any tales of degeneracy for us, or are we skipping that this week?
I mean, no, I'll run it down. Super contest picks. I only ended up being 2 out of 2 and 3. I won Bucks -2.5 and Seahawks +2.5. Lost the Titans lost straight up against Jacksonville. I don't know what the hell happened there. I was a little too optimistic on how the Bears would come into the game, and the Chiefs minus that game they started off really well in that game, and I don't know whatever happened. The adjustments that the Chargers made were enough to make it close, and Chiefs win, but they don't cover. So 2 and 3 bring me back to I think 37-33, still above water on the year for that. And then my 4 to score here. I did not see anything about George Pickens during the week or anything clearly because I put him in my four to score. And then
Yeah,
I
got
saw
hurt
he
on
was
Friday.
inactive.
Got hurt Friday at
Uh,
practice. Yep.
I I saw he was inactive about 30 minutes before game time after about about 20 minutes after I posted my video. And so I had to pivot real quick and I just went with like a Saquon two bagger and he got tackled on the 1 yard line 3 times I think and didn't even have one touchdown. And uh, I had Kittle and DJ Moore in the San Francisco game, and again, Kittle had about 1,000 yards receiving, but did not catch one. And well, the Bears are the Bears, so I did hit Justin Jefferson. I knew he was due, and he came through in a big way. Other than that, it was not a good week. And if somehow we don't get 12 more yards out of CD Lamb in the end of this game, then I'm going to be really sad.
Yeah. Should be interesting. Bengals are going backwards right now. Yeah, I don't want to go down on my depressing stuff. A lot of it are just near misses. Just that makes it really frustrating when you're like right there knocking on the door and you hit 6 out of 7 legs or something on a parlay and the miss is by like 3 yards. It gets really frustrating. So maybe time to take a
Yeah.
break for me, take a week off, getting a little pelted. But all right, man. It is
Let's
now.
hit back call.
Yeah. Wait, taking a break or keeping going? I'm not, not really sure.
No. I'm saying time for that back call of the week. Why
Yeah.
don't you lead us off this week?
So I'll be honest, coming into this, I was gonna talk about Jawaan Taylor, the dude. All right, right tackle for the Chiefs, right? It's the whole reason we have that rule that keeps getting the illegal formation or whatever it is, or where the tackle is not lined up like the head over the belt line of the center or whatever, because he was always too far back and the league complained about it, right? So they put this rule in and they've been calling it a lot. The other thing with Jawaan Taylor is he always starts moving before the ball gets snapped, to the point where they talked about it on Sunday Night Football a lot. And like even Collinsworth was praising him for getting away with it. Right. So if Collinsworth is criticizing you and praising you for getting away with something that shouldn't be happening, like it's pretty bad. And the league just, the ref's not calling it. Like it's a false start. It should happen every time. You start calling it until he stops doing it. Anyway, I was gonna do that. That was 100% my plan. So like that's bad call A. Bad call B is Bears fans right now that are already like Thomas Brown absolutely cannot be a head coach. Just absolutely throwing the towel in on him, destroying this man after one game. Listen, this guy was our passing game coordinator, and then within a matter of weeks has gone into the offense coordinator and interim head coach very quickly, and in a tough circumstances where your team is circling the drain. He's got basically 2.5 years of rot that has to be cleaned out of this team and out of this organization. And for some reason, fans think he was going to fix it in 6 days, 7 days. Like it's unrealistic and it's unfair. Listen, I'm not going to say that he should be the next head coach of the Bears. I'm not going to say that he's going to be a quality head coach, but for fans to look at one game, his very first game, and be like, oh, he's terrible. He couldn't get this team turned around in 1 week. It's idiotic. Pull your head out of your ass. Be realistic. That's all I'm saying. So
Yeah, no, I mean the snap judgment. That's the world we live in these days. It, I'm not. I like. I took nothing of any sort of value out of this game. Um, I don't. I I don't think that I was real high on Thomas Brown as a candidate anyway, coming into it. But I'm not gonna chastise him for a team that's been poisoned already. So,
Right.
and you know, I at this point I lay more blame on Ryan Poles for what he hasn't put out there for the team from a personnel standpoint.
That's fine. That's way more fair. You know me. I'm a fan of polls. I'm not one of those get him out of the building type of guys. But
No,
he deserves more of the blame than Thomas Brown does at this point.
I'm not saying I'm not calling for him to be fired either. I don't believe that Matt Eberflus was his 100% clear choice. It might have been the small basket that he was given to choose from.
Right.
But when you start head coach interviews before you even have that general manager in place, I can't believe that the general manager was the guy leading the process. So,
especially when he was hired, what, like 2 days, 3 days after Poles was hired?
Right. And I don't know that I believe, you know, whatever, you know, who knows if he would have moved on last offseason or not. There's so much crap out there.
Wow.
Oh my God.
For those of you who are not watching this game.
Oh, the Cincinnati touched it first. Cincinnati it was blocked.
It was a blocked punt.
But then the Cincinnati guy touched it, didn't he?
Then Dallas touches it. Then Cincinnati recovers it. I mean, once it's blocked, it's touched by the other team anyway already.
Sorry, folks. This is real exciting, but
yeah, sorry. Anyway, go ahead. Move on to your bad call of the week, because special teams does go into your.
Yeah. Speaking of special teams here, Kadarius Toney. You guys remember him? He a lot of high expectations as a Kansas City Chiefs a couple of years ago, and after a couple of years, they finally figured out, and this guy's a joker, and they got rid of him. He bounced around a couple of places, not only in the NFL but in the UFL or whatever other small league. And then this past, I think maybe it was just this past week, he popped up on the Browns, and punt returner. And all I'll say is you'll know teams are getting desperate for people to put in uniform at this point of the year when this guy is getting another chance. He suits up for the Browns as a punt returner. He had 4 opportunities this week. On one of those opportunities, he muffs the punt, fumble turnover, and on another of these opportunities, he gets an unsportsmanlike taunting penalty, 15 yards. I got to say that my biggest surprise of this when I was looking this up today to try to get a little more context on it was the fact that he hasn't been cut already.
Right.
What a buffoon.
Yeah. I think I sent a text to our fantasy chat. I was like, "Oh, Kadarius Toney," and just the face palm, because it's classic. I think they showed it on Red Zone, and even Scott Hansen was like, "Well, this is what you get when you go with Kadarius Toney." But bad call to the Browns for thinking they could be the team that fixed Toney. Listen, he was, if I'm not mistaken, drafted by the Giants, and then he goes to the Chiefs. If Andy Reid and that organization can't fix it and make it work, probably something wrong in Denmark. That's what I'm saying. But all right, buddy. Anything else?
Lock him in a room and make him listen to Jameis Winston's speeches for a year.
Oh
maybe.
boy. Oh boy, Bengals. There you go. That's not gonna. I mean, you might get your 12 more yards out of Lamb now.
I hope so. That may have put me over in best ball. We will see. But
well, that definitely solidified me getting knocked out of getting knocked out of the playoffs in the league. But all right, buddy, you got anything else before we get out of here and stop bugging people?
No, I'm good.
All right. For those of you that stopped by, stuck around, truly appreciate you. Leave a comment down in the comments. That's a good place to do it. Which one of our bad calls of the week you think is spot on, or if you've got a different bad call of the week, let us know. We'd love to hear it. Put something out on X or whatever they want to call it. Hashtag BCOTW. Let us know what your bad call of the week is too. Really helps us out. Really appreciate you. Hopefully next week we will have a little bit more fun, positive things to talk about, but it's a Bears season, so who knows?
I was gonna say next week they play on Monday night, so we'll have to decide if we're going to.
Yeah, we may do a different time next
pop
week.
in, or we're gonna do
Either post game or next day type of deal. But
yeah.
Until then, folks, thank you very much. Try to avoid making another bad call.
It's another week, another game night. The Bears are back and they're out of sight. Bad calls, bad luck, it's a weekly sight. Tune in to another bad call, let's make it right. Yo, it's another bad call, it shows the name. Breaking down the plays, the blame and the shame. From Soldier Field to the NFL's domain. We're here to talk it out again and again. Another bad call.